All right, Nick. Top of the ninth. Top of the ninth.
Can you believe it?
It's a nice thing to watch sometimes. A baseball team that looks like they actually know how to play. My voice, for whatever reason, is not at full strength, so I'm going to start off by saying if it sounds like I'm talking like this and whispering in a room, it's because I'm just trying to baby this thing the best that I can. So I'm sure as people come in, they're going to think that I'm talking very, very softly. Maybe I can bump my microphone up a little bit. That might help. But anyways, I'm very happy the Reds are winning. I don't want to sound like I'm saddened by it, but I know that my voice and my dialect, would that be the right word? Dialect doesn't sound like I'm excited, but I am.
Let's go. Luis May. Look at that pitch.
I must make a confession. Usually I turn the TV on. I got to get into the streaming options and all that.
Oh, no.
I came down here. I came down here and I opened up Game Day. I was like, I hope that I don't really need to watch this last inning. So,
Luis May outing though.
If I have to turn it on, I will, but I prefer not to do that.
Well, I mean, you can't now. I mean, you've committed. You've committed.
Well, I definitely can. It's just like it's like a 5-minute. It's a 5-minute process I didn't feel like doing.
All right.
Also, turns out I must have left the dunk cam. I must have left the. I'm gonna actually do that now.
I don't even know where stuff is
in real time. Maybe we take the day off of that. I'll do 2 of them on Sunday if they win.
Take the season off on that. Well, I don't care about your dunks. You can do those.
Well, I feel like it's a rite of passage at this point. Anyways, you need to remind me, Nick. I know that I probably should be an adult and remind myself, but maybe later tonight, if I can remember, I need to buy another one of those full-time battery chargers for the secondary camera that I have in here.
Got you again.
It got me, yeah. I must have left it on the night that I thought they might win, and they just didn't win. So,
shout out Sully.
Yep. Yeah, that was a nice
Our
addition.
Guy, that one of the best professional tips I think I've ever been given.
Yeah, it was a nice tip. Meanwhile, he's all pissed off at Quail Hollow I seen on X. At least he's not mad at me. That's a positive.
Quail Hollow.
That's the golf course they're currently playing the PGA Championship in. He's not a big fan of the way they've laid it out, I guess. Just yeah, he wasn't. He's been chirping him a little bit, which is fine.
All right, hey, I respect it.
Yeah, he feels like bad golf shots are not getting punished. And, he's probably right. I don't know. Not watched the tournament yet. What I am going to watch is hopefully a baseball game that we win. How many outs we got, Nick?
3. Benson just made a nice running catch to end the ball game.
Thank you. All right, folks. I'm not saying we're back, but we're closer than we were before. All right. We're not all the way back, but damn it, we are a little bit closer. And you know what that means. We're going to be back in just a couple minutes.
And a bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. And the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. He's gone. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Benson tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Perkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Aranda to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McLain's first big league bomb. Spin
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Win! Line to right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first and Homer Bailey for the second time in his major league career has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to a career of Jay Bruce.
All right, welcome into a Chatterbox Reds edition, a businessman special, if you will. Reds win, Reds win, Reds win. Final line 7-1, and Nick, it doesn't mean they're back. Doesn't mean that the things that we have seen in the past week and a half aren't still present. But at least, if nothing else, it was a sign that there's possibly light at the end of the tunnel. And I say possibly very, very in bold exclamation points after it. But a lot of the guys that we need to start playing well and providing some pop and some power, they did so today. And hopefully it's a sign of things to come.
Everything feels better when you hit 3 home runs. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the story of the season, really, in some ways. But, yeah, look, a nice win. This team desperately needed it today. Still haven't got swept this year. I guess that's the one thing that's keeping them afloat right now, is that somehow, as bad as they've been at times, they haven't got swept in a series. You try to flush it down, and you got a big series against the Guardians this weekend, one of the best teams in baseball right now. We've seen it enough to not think it's not possible for the Reds to do something stupid this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that actually, when I was at the depths of the bottom here, I don't want to say hell, but I mean, when we were at the depths of fandom, if you want to call it that, which was last night, I mean, the fact that you still have, a couple big series with the Cubs, sometimes you can look at that as like a negative in the sense that, oh man, if if the Cubs take care of business, you're completely out of it. But the Reds have kind of gotten themselves in a position where you're already starting to feel like they're out of it. That's kind of a get out of jail free card if you play really good baseball over that stretch of the time and you do something crazy like you sweep them, maybe you take 5 of 6 from them. So not all hope is lost, but I think the reason to want to keep tuning in to this baseball team, if nothing else, Nick, is the success, hopefully, of what we thought this core was going to be. And I think that's probably why I've been as disheartened as anybody. It's not just the record, it's not the losses, but it was more or less what these guys were looking like. Matt McLain just did not look like the guy that I thought that he was for a long time. Will Benson wasn't getting any opportunities. Seemed like they were kind of just casting him off, and he was going to ride off into the sunset and maybe get kind of a couple sparing opportunities here and there and then get DFA'd or get traded. And that was disappointing because in 2023, Will Benson was one of the main cogs. And I keep reiterating that because I feel like it's somehow got lost in the shuffle, Nick, that of all of the players that we were supposed to be excited for, Will Benson wasn't one of them. Will Benson was one of the main reasons that they kind of went on the run that they went on. And I don't know if people respect that enough. So I'm going to continue to keep reiterating that. I don't know if Will Benson's going to keep having success in the big leagues, Nick. I have no idea. But I do know, without a shadow of doubt, that we have at least been somewhat proven worthy of banging that drum of he should get opportunities because these other guys are getting opportunities and they're terrible or they've been terrible. Yet we don't give the opportunity to the one guy that has shown a very high ceiling in the major leagues for what was at least if nothing else, half of a season. So that's my final thing about Will Benson. I'm excited that he played really well today. We'll get into it, I'm sure. But I guess sadly, and I'm not trying to be rude, but like if Connor Joe hit 3 home runs today and the Reds won 10-1, I wouldn't be nearly as thrilled as what I am by seeing the at-bats that Benson had, seeing the at-bats that McLain had, and seeing the home run that Elly hit. That's why I'm actually excited. Take the score out of it. I just say that is the hope of this franchise. And it's nice to see. I'm not going to try to go overboard and say it was a big deal, but it was just nice to see. I'll leave it at that, Nick.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. And look, I'm as sick as everyone about kicking the can down the road. But if this season does completely go down the crapper, it matters what Matt McLain and Elly De La Cruz and Will Benson look like, in terms of having any hope next year. And again, like I just said, I'm exhausted with that thinking, but it does still matter. So that's why you tune into these games. That's the hope. And yeah, I mean, this felt like a 2023 game. And man, feels like we have seen very, very few 2023 games really for the last year and 2 months at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, let's jump into the deep drive of the day. We'll get into obviously all the proper things of the folks that played well in this game and maybe even more. But before we do all that, we'll jump into the box score recap presented by yours truly, Nick Kirby. And if you don't have it, that's fine, Nick. Just run with whatever you got. Of course you got it.
All right, Reds taking on the White Sox. Reds trying to avoid getting swept. Nick Martinez up against Bryse Wilson. Reds scored just 1 earned run off Wilson in 13 in the third innings last season when he was on the Milwaukee Brewers. Nick Martinez, impressive first inning, 1-2-3, striking out Josh Rojas and Luis Robert. And then the Reds offense got cooking right away. Gavin Lux with a leadoff walk. Santiago Espinal, a bunt single, followed by an Elly De La Cruz opposite field single, loaded the bases. Austin Hayes had a sac fly to put the Reds up 1-0, but both Espinal and Elly tagged up and moved up a base on the play, and that would prove to be important because after Steer weakly lined out, Will Benson smacked a single at 103 off the bat to put the Reds up 3-0. Elly De La Cruz homered for a third time in 5 games in the third inning to put the Reds up 4-0. Matt McLain doubled and came around to score in the fourth to make it 5-0. And then Will Benson cranked a home run at 105 off the bat, his first of the season in the 5th inning to make it 6-0. Matt McLain then destroyed a baseball 107 off the bat in the 6th to make it 7-0. And that was more than enough for Nick Martinez. He was absolutely brilliant once again. Martinez through 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Martinez now over his last 4 starts has a 1.88 ERA with 2 walks and 17 strikeouts. That's actually 3 consecutive outings for Nick Martinez where he has not allowed a walk. Reds would go on to win 7-1. Reds now improved to 21-24. Reds pick up a half game in the NL Central with the Cubs off, now 4.5 back in the NL Central.
All right, we got a deep drive of the day. Came off the bat of Matt McLain. That's going to disappoint honest fan for sure, but it did. Came off the bat of Matt McLain, 106 off the bat, 406 feet. That's his 6th home run of the year. Would give the Reds a 7-0 lead. The win probability would jump a whopping 0.6, not 6%, but 0.6 to 99.4%. But DSC, they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. All right, let's jump into it. Start off with Will Benson. I think clearly he was the story of the day. It's weird that how the whole universe works. I don't even know if Will Benson gets all that many opportunities if TJ Friedl doesn't get hurt. I don't. I could be crazy, but I really don't think that he was. And now he's kind of forced the hand a little bit, hasn't he, Nick? It's like you got to play him now. The only thing I would say is, like, he better get some leash here. Like, this better not be like, oh, he goes 0 for 8 in the next 2 games. The next thing you know, he's sitting again. I've seen enough now to where it's like, let's just stick him out there for a while, give him a plenty of opportunity, and let's see if it sticks. Yeah, he's probably going to strike out more than Facebook would like him to. All right, I 100% understand that, but he's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and this team needs that more than they need guys putting the ball in play. I hate for people to maybe think that might not be the case. I'm much of an advocate of putting the ball in play, to be clear. But if you're putting the ball in play 1 through 8 or 1 through 9, and you're not hitting the ball over the fence, you got a problem. This team's not built on being able to pass the baton to one guy to the next because they don't have enough good hitters. Hate to say that, but that's how I feel. They don't have enough good hitters. They need some guys that are going to hit it over the fence. Will Benson did that today, and he looks good in the field. Has had 2 back-to-back games where he's kind of shined a little bit, to be honest, Nick.
Used both of my points there. Not leaving anything left. Not even leaving me any crumbs for Will Benson to talk about.
Go ahead. Right? Say it over again.
After
People
all
need to hear
I've
it twice.
been through.
People need to hear it twice. You can say it again. Say it again.
No, you're spot on, though. I mean, he deserves some leash. Like, if he goes 0 for 12 against the Guardians this weekend, he should still be in the lineup on Monday. Period. End of story. I don't want to hear anything else other than that. I mean, Benson has the same amount of extra base hits as Blake Dunn had on the roster the whole season. He has 1 less extra base hit than Jamer Candelario. And quick Liberty math here, 62 less at-bats. I mean, like, give this guy a chance. And he's looked really good in the field. It's a small sample. Don't want to go overboard on that. But he looks like he's put in some work there. That's what I felt watching that. And it looks like he could play a serviceable center field, which, you know, that was probably part of the reason Blake Dunn was on the roster, because the Reds kind of wanted a legit backup center fielder without having Fairchild. And if he could play, you know, a legitimate center fielder, at least in spots, that adds a lot of value to him on this roster. So really excited to see from Will Benson, a guy that is as easy as any player ever in this Reds organization to root for. He deserves an opportunity to play, and I'm glad he's at least, I think, earned himself a leash.
Worst case scenario for me is Will Benson and Rhys Hines platoon. That's worst case scenario. And I know that there's going to be maybe that I'm preparing my heart for that not to happen. I'm sure that I'm going to see Connor Joe get like 600 at bats this year or something. I've already penciled that into my brain. But I got to tell you, Nick, like, I really hope that that's what happens, because I feel like that's got a chance to be at least a little bit of, like, there's some longevity to that platoon. There's a chance that when this team is actually in a spot where they are genuinely one of the better teams in the National League, if we ever get to that point, that could be a serviceable option, which is Will Benson and Rhys Hines platooning in right field. Don't know if that's obviously going to pan out. Certainly when TJ Friedl comes back, I don't know what all this looks like. I just hope, you know, and like, if nothing else, I hope people give us not that I'm looking for us, people give us credit, but I would hope that you kind of at some point when we bring these guys up and we continue to try to fight and say, hey, like, you know, there's other options here. Let's try these other options. there's at least some respect to that, because I felt like for the longest time when we brought up Rhys Hines and Will Benson on this show, it was like, oh, yeah, what do you want to bring them up so they can strike out 400 times?
Rearranging deck chairs, rearranging 4A players.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, listen, you don't 100% know that yet. And I would actually understand that sentiment if these guys were 31 years old and they were retreads and they've been to six organizations. That's not the case with these guys. There's every bit of an opportunity. As much as you could say that Will Benson's not going to be a major league player and he's not very good, I would argue that you got just as good of a chance to say that he's going to have a pretty good big league career, whatever you want to make that out to be, 6, 7, 8 year big league career where he's a serviceable player. I would say that the chances of both of those things happening are like split 50-50 to me. So of course I want to see if there's a chance, because I'm tired of running out what we've been running out. And it's no offense to the Jake Fraleys of the world. It's no offense to Connor Joes of the world. But I've seen enough of that. I have, and with all due respect, I hope this opens people's eyes to saying maybe 300 at-bats in 2024 wasn't really a fair total opportunity for a guy to say he's a big leaguer or he's not, That's all I have on Will Benson. And I hope he keeps playing well, but I'm here to say, whether he plays well or doesn't play well, you can't deny the fact that he earned an opportunity and deserved an opportunity a long time ago to play on this baseball team. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love the idea of Rhys Hines just being completely negated to a platoon player on the wrong side where he doesn't get to play a lot. If you go that route, though, you have to start him when you have opportunities like today instead of Connor Joe. That's just, you're just, I feel like at that point you're just really stunting this guy's development. And I don't know. I mean, I guess if the Reds are really, if the Reds do platoon Hines and just straight put him into that role, I hope it's because they really just don't have any belief in him that he can develop anything more than that. But if they believe that he could develop more than that,
right?
I think they need to. This is not the right role for him.
Well, he's your first bat. Yeah, but I think he's your first bat off the bench. I mean, yeah. When I say he doesn't play, against right-handed pitching, which is obviously the vast majority of the time, I'm not suggesting that he can't come in the 6th or 7th inning after you pinch hit him in a spot.
Well, he would have today. He would have today. Benson wouldn't have got that at bat. Not faulting Tito at all when Benson's had a great day and the Reds are up 7 runs.
Right.
But yeah, he would have certainly pinch hit against the lefty in the 6th or 7th inning.
You would like to think, but you never know. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Tito, Nick, but you're giving him a lot of credit right now for I don't know if he would have. I'm just being honest with you. It could have been a 1-0. Let's just say it was a 3-2 game. I don't think Will Benson's getting hit for right there, because I think the other night the Reds were down 2 runs and Gavin Lux in the top of the 8th inning to lead the inning off, he's hitting lefty on lefty. So I do appreciate you're being nice right now and you're giving Tito the benefit of the doubt by saying that it was 7-1 and Will Benson's had a good day, so let's just kind of let him keep going out there. He did walk, to be fair to Will, he did walk, but I'm not going to give credence or credit, I guess, to the idea that Tito would have pinch hit there. So I'm just openly saying, don't be shocked the next time that happens and he doesn't get pinch hit.
I don't think he likes Benson as much as he likes Lux either. So
well, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. And you know what? That's what sucks about some of this stuff. I don't know exactly what, it's just weird. Sometimes you get put in a box as an athlete that you're this player no matter what, and you might not actually be that player, and then eventually you either are so good that you break out of it and you show that you are a different player, or you just never given the opportunity to showcase that you're better than what they think you are. And I hope for Rhys Hines' sake, that's not what happens to him. But it feels like that's the path that we're going to go down, which is Rhys Hines at best is going to get opportunities perhaps in a platoon situation, or he's going to get back down to AAA. It just seems like they look at these guys as lottery tickets, like they're not well-rounded, good baseball players. And I hate to tell this to the Reds front office and the Reds franchise, but I got news for them. They're not going to have that many well-rounded, great baseball players walk through the door all that often as a prospect that's going to perfectly fit the mold. They're going to have to live with some of the bad. And Rhys Hines is going to strike out. He's going to strike out, but they're going to have to live with that a little bit. And if he goes, like I said before, the guy could go 2 for 14, but if he hits 2 home runs in those 14 at-bats, he's providing a significantly better value than the vast majority of some of these guys. So we'll leave it at that. All right, Matt McLain, nice to see him today. Obviously get off the snide a little bit, starting to look like himself. I also felt like there was a play towards the back end of the game that was like in my opinion, a smart baseball play. The Reds had like it was 7-1, a 6-run lead, and Barry Larkin was suggesting that he could have charged it, tapped the bag, and tried to get the out at first base for a double play. I'm just telling everybody, like, maybe I'm giving McLain way too much credit, but he knows time and score. He's making sure he gets the out at second base 100%. So instead of trying to risk a chance of making an error to make the ultimate play, which is a double play, just take the out. And I had no problem with that play. I know Barry brought that up, but I don't know. What do you have to add with McLain? I don't have much more than I just hope he gets going because we need him.
Well, numbers look a lot better now, up to an 82 WRC plus, so he's slowly climbing that long hill back up.
Right.
Chris brought it up earlier in the chat. McLain is walking a lot. He's up to a 13.4% walk rate, which he was only at 7.7 in 2023. So as bad as he's been offensively, he actually has a 308 on base percentage. So that's the most positive sign with him, is that he is overall, laying off pitches, drawing walks, and he has 6 home runs. So he obviously needs to make more contact. But also though, is it too crazy to say that Matt McLain has also had some pretty bad luck this year? Yeah. That if a couple of these balls, in 157 plate appearances, 4 or 5 more hits, your entire stat lines look different. So, Matt McLain right now has a 231 batting average on balls in play. It was 385 in 2023. Both of those numbers are unsustainable. I think the 2023 numbers are probably unsustainable. At some point he's going to get probably closer to that middle. And I think Matt McLain is probably not. I think it's unlikely Matt McLain is ever that 127, right, well above average WRC plus guy. But I think that he's going to settle into a guy that's probably above average, maybe a little bit more than that. But again, man, you factor in his defense, his base running, and then if he does continue to draw more walks, it can climb his numbers a little bit. And he's just a very valuable player. You just need good players to go around Matt McLain.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, moving on. Game Time. If you're in the market for tickets, please download the Game Time app today. It's the official ticketing partner of Chatterbox Reds. If you do download the Game Time app, be sure to put in the code CBOX. That's CBOX. You can get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Schedule release for the NFL just came out. Obviously, maybe you're making plans for that. Perhaps you're looking to go down to the ball yard. The weather's starting to turn around this parts, isn't it, Chat? The weather's starting to warm up around here. It feels great outside. If you've not been outside, do yourself a favor and get outside at some point today. Maybe you're looking to go down to the ball yard, get some ice cream, maybe a cold beverage or two, if you know what I'm saying, and enjoying it. And if you do that, you can get your tickets on the Game Time app. Use the code CBOX. That's CBOX. You can get $20 off your first purchase. Wait to the last minute. Always score on some last-minute tickets with Game Time. And it's also a very, very easy, user-intuitive app. So check it out. All right, 988, text and or call, day or night. It's anonymous hotline to at any point to get help. And it's okay to not be okay is 988. And mantherapy.org obviously is always a resource. So check that out if you need it. All right, Nick, back half of the rundown. I'm trying to obviously kind of make sure that my voice continues to stay intact here. So I'm going to do my best to rally the troops here. Nick Martinez obviously started the game. Nick Martinez has been a little topic of conversation just because of the 1-year deal that he signed, and today threw the ball really, really well. And you know what's funny about this is, like, I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of credit for it because it was the White Sox. But this is kind of what you're supposed to do, right? If you're a decent pitcher, like you're supposed to go out and do your job. And as much as like we wanted to be disheartened by the way that the Reds played against the White Sox, I would say the opposite is like when you actually play well or you do your job against them, you should deserve some credit. Nick Martinez deserves his credit on a day like today.
Yeah, he's pitching really well. It's so refreshing just to have a pitcher that can go 3 straight starts without walking anyone. You just don't see that very often. So, yeah, he's pitching really well. This is a start where, man, you just needed to shut down. I mean, fortunately, he got 7 runs of support, but probably weren't expecting that coming into the game, given the fact that the Reds have really struggled against Bryse Wilson, and the Reds have struggled in general. So, yeah, this is a big start from Nick Martinez. And, again, like, if you don't have Nick Martinez right now in this rotation, I'm assuming the starter would probably be Aaron Wilkerson. And if you don't know who that is, that's my point. So it would be rough on that front too if you didn't have Nick Martinez. So again, we have to let this play out. We have to really see what this looks like over 162 games before I say, hey, I'm right, they should have signed Nick Martinez, or you say I'm wrong, they should have signed a hitter, because we're nowhere close to having any sort of idea how this works. But we'll see. We'll find out at the end of the season whether it was probably a smart move or not.
And no walks is a good point by you. Again, just something that we've kind of taken for granted a little bit with the starting pitching staff. In fact, you just mentioned it's nice to have a guy that can go 3 straight outings without giving up a walk. Oddly enough, there's 2 guys in the rotation that I know of at the top of my head that can do that. Andrew Abbott's another guy that has an opportunity to do that with his next start. So, obviously we've given love to this pitching staff a lot, and deservedly so. And if they continue to throw the ball well, you'd like to think this offense can figure it out at some point. Are they this bad? I don't think so. But man, it's felt like we've kind of been saying that for a long time. So I'm wondering if we are, but we shall find out. All right. You got Elly De La Cruz obviously on the rundown. Nice day obviously from him as well. From an X Factor perspective, Nick, it feels like Ellie's probably the biggest one, man. I keep wanting to try to figure out if there's another guy on this team that could elevate them to a level that would get you excited, genuinely excited. And I don't know if that exists. I think Ellie's he just has a ceiling above so many other guys that if he gets going, and also today played pretty good shortstop. Seems like we gloss over that too. I'm not saying we, but as a fan base, we'll probably gloss over that. What more is there to say other than really Elly and Matt McLain are the 2 guys that have to get going for this team to be relevant, and it's nice to see both of them, I guess, today play well.
Yeah, I mean, 3 home runs in 5 games is a pretty big trend. That's for sure. I know there's a lot made about his ground ball rate early in the year, and it was at a level it had never been. But I noted back on May 9th, really not that long ago, that Elly last year, from opening day through May 26th, so a little bit longer, had a 54% ground ball rate. And then after May 27th, through the rest of the season, it was down to 43%. So I don't know. It's probably some sort of combination of 2 things. Obviously, the summer and the ball carrying, and also just Elly playing in warmer weather. I guess 3 things: warmer weather, and the Elly just maybe being a little bit of a slow starter in that regard. So I'll be interested to see what his power numbers look like, but it feels like he's not shown anywhere close to the power we hoped, and he still has 8 home runs. So, I mean, we're what, a fourth of the way through the season? So that's almost a 24 home run pace. I'm trying to do math here on the fly, not my strong suit, but I mean, you don't really have to squint too hard to say that could get up to 30 pretty quick if he gets hot.
Yeah, it requires him to get hot, and I guess that was the whole question mark of this whole thing was, is Elly actually going to get hot or not? And I know that might, at the end of the season, that's always kind of an easy thing to look back and laugh upon, right? It's like, oh, we expected him not to get hot. His numbers are very much the same as they were the year prior, if not better. We just don't have enough guys on this roster yet, Nick, that I think that you could just kind of, as I said before, you could just settle in and believe wholeheartedly that no matter what happens, no matter how bad it looks, they are going to find, their level. They're going to find their numbers. It's going to happen. When, where, you don't know, but I don't feel that way for many of these guys. And I guess Ellie's trending in that direction where I start to feel like, yeah, you're going to get that out of him at some point, but that wasn't a guarantee either. So it's just nice to see, and I guess that's the storyline of the day. It was a very, very good day from an optimistic and hope standpoint in what this team can become. They're not there yet, but they need the guys that played well today to be factors moving forward, for not just for this season, but for seasons onward. And I know that we don't really like talking about that. People hate when we talk about, oh, you're always talking about next season. I'm not trying to talk about next season. I'm just being realistic and saying that if Elly, Matt McLain, Will, and I'll use some other ones, but Will Benson, Reese Hines, Marte, CES, if he's ever going to play, I don't know. If those guys aren't good, then we're cooked. Like, then we're wasting our time here. I don't mean to be overly ridiculous about it, but this franchise is cooked. Like, for 4 or 5 straight years, they're going to be absolutely horrendous if those specific guys aren't good baseball players. And that's the core focus when I watch these games more times than not, is how do these guys look? You know, we can get excited about Austin Wynns. We can get excited about, I guess Trevino now has a little bit of staying power. But even, you had Connor Joe. Oh, Jake Fraley has a game or two here that looks nice. I'll throw in Espinal. You know, you have all these players that we obviously hope do well. But the truth is that they're not going to be main factors in us cheering on a team that's trying to win postseason baseball games, in my opinion, or series down the line. So hopefully people kind of understand that.
Yeah, I mean, they stopped the bleeding today. I mean, that's really all they did. And they gave themselves a chance to get back on track. So it was much needed for everyone's sake, the fan base, for the players, for Terry Francona, for the ownership, for Nick Kroll. It's just a big day for everyone just to kind of say, all right.
Right.
We didn't get swept by the White Sox. All right. We live to fight another day. Let's try to get hot. That's
no doubt. Yeah, the ceasefire seemed to work. You know, we calmed everybody down. Let's see if we can't find a way to negotiate some peace here and start playing some better baseball within this fan base. All right. I know that on a day like today, Reds MiLB isn't going to be the most fluid and the most easy thing to do, probably, Nick. But I guess you could just run through who, what, when, where, and why in a way. And then, obviously, for those that are wondering, podcast version, as always, you probably get a little bit more snippets and some more nuggets. But, Nick, go ahead and take it away on Reds MiLB.
Yeah, only Louisville in action so far today. They fall 7-4 to Indianapolis now, 19-22 on the season. That Louisville lineup has really got depleted. Blake Dunn out of the lineup today after getting hit in the head. Man, poor Blake Dunn. Jacob Hurtubise, 0-for-4, did walk. He's now hitting a $127 down at AAA. Vaughn Johnson, 0-for-4 with a walk as well. Hurtubise did steal a base, though, his 6th of the season. Wade Miley pitched today, 3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. So a better outing from Miley, but still certainly nowhere close to being a big league contributor. And that was really about all the nuggets from this game. I'll try to do a little more digging for the podcast tomorrow. Some exciting stuff, though, tonight with the Reds minor league system. Jose Acuna, who's been incredible starting for Chattanooga. He's got a 1.95 ERA. Lookouts trying to get back on track. They've actually lost 5 straight games, but they're only a game and a half out of their division race. Dayton, they have the number 30 ranked prospect, just actually got put on the Reds prospect list. Luke Hayden, 8th round pick last season. He's got a 1.88 ERA so far, so he'll be starting for Dayton. That's at 7:30. Daytona at 6:35. Ovis Portes, the return for Lucas Sims, getting the start. And then the ACL Reds, not enough space for them to make the graphic, but they'll be at 9 o'clock. Obviously, no TV for them. Tyson Lewis show. We're on Tyson Lewis watch, our new hope and savior.
I like it.
Hey,
I like it.
Well, I mean, he was a 2nd-round pick that was out of high school, so like you don't have to squint to go, okay. I mean, that's the profile of a guy that you pick that has upside that could have easily should have been a 1st-round pick. But he came from, is it Nebraska? I think he came from Nebraska, and he was the highest high school pick ever in that state. So it's like it has all the makings of a guy that could be like that top-end talent that you missed on. So pretty exciting. I don't know if did you see the video? Baseball America posted it of his home run.
No.
Go find it. I retweeted it. Man, the sound off that bat. Ooh, it's good. And Cam Collier was put a chain or something on him in the dugout. So Cam Collier, I don't think he's been in any games, but he is with the ACL Reds in the dugout every day. So hopefully that means he's close to getting back in action.
All right, that's good to hear. Reds on MiLB, as always. We have more baseball on the way. Just to be clear, obviously, me and Nick will be back on Sunday night, but support the Phillips brothers as they do the shows, obviously, and helping us out throughout the summer. Obviously, I need some help. My voice is what it is at this point. So who, what, when, where, and why, Nick. And then I think I got some things squared away. I might have to find where this basketball is. It's been so long, but I think I'm good to go. So take it away, Nick.
All right, Reds will start a 3-game series on Friday night against the Guardians. Guardians come up with the second best record in the American League at 25-18, only behind the Tigers. So unfortunately, they're 3.5 games out of their division, and they're 25-18. That's pretty tough. Reds have not won the Ohio Cup since 2014. So is this finally the year? We shall see. That Guardians lineup, I was doing a few notes on them last night. My God, Steven Kwan, Jose Ramirez, they've got some dudes that are absolutely raking right now. All right, Friday night's pitching matchup, Brady Singer comes in 4-2, 4.97 ERA against Tanner Bybee, 3-3, 3.80 ERA. Bybee's had a really impressive first 2 and change seasons of his big league career, put up 3+ wins above replacement in each of his first 2 big league seasons. He's made 8 starts this season. In 6 of those 8, he's allowed 2 earned runs or less. The other 2 starts, he got blown up a little bit. Actually got 4 home runs in one start and 3 home runs in another start. Last start, though, 7 innings, 1 run against the Philadelphia Phillies. Bybee relies on 6 pitches, a 4-seamer, cutter, sinker, sweeper, changeup, and curveball. Fastball averages 94.6. That sweeper has been his most dominant pitch this season. Made 2 career starts against the Reds, both last season. 3.65 ERA, 18 Ks, and 3 walks. Unfortunately, Jeimer Candelario won't be in the lineup because his biggest home run probably as a Red was a 3-run home run against Bybee when he was absolutely dominating that. The Reds would go on to win 4-2. Other Reds, Benson's 1 for 2, Friedl 2 for 5, Steer 1 for 5, Elly De La Cruz 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. So if there's ever a day maybe to give Elly off, maybe it's that one, but obviously he's hot, so probably not going to happen. All right, for the Reds, Brady Singer coming off a rough start, 9 hits, 7 runs against the Houston Astros. That was the first time he'd allowed 7 earned runs since 2023. ERA went from 3.66 to 4.97. Singer's faced the Guardians a lot. 13 starts, 4.84 ERA. There are some ugly numbers, though. Active Guardians hitting .418 with an OPS over 1,000 against them. Jose Ramirez is 12 for 27 with 3 homers. Kwan 9 for 23 with a homer. Kyle Manzardo 4 for 5, and the most damning one, Austin Hedges, is 4 for 16 with 2 homers off Brady Singer. I don't even know how that's
I didn't need to hear that. It sounds like every single one of
I'm
those players.
getting it all out there.
My goodness. It sounds like basically the whole entire roster at this point. Their favorite player to go up against is Brady Singer, so we'll sign. One thing that I kind of let slip through the cracks all the way to the end of the show, and I must submit my formal apology to Honest Fan. He's been on the bandwagon, has always been on the bandwagon. In fact, I think he drives the bus, which is the bandwagon bus. Train, whatever term you'd like to use, of the Will Benson fandom, and that is his super chat coming in at a big time 1999. William Buchanan Benson, that's what he says, and yeah, maybe it's his day. Maybe he'll get back on track. I do know this: there's at least a semblance of hope now. That's nice, and what else is nice is that, when it's been so long since I've dunked, I got to go through kind of the rigors here of trying to remember what exactly I'm supposed to do in all this. So I don't know if this is going to work because it's been so long, but we're going to give it a shot. And I just want to tell everybody before we go, like the stream if you haven't already. Nick, any final parting thoughts before we head out into the sunset?
Let me add this, Honest Fan. Hopefully makes you appreciative a little more for your super chat that we didn't get to. The only reason I didn't see your super chat was because I switched to my personal account so I could talk about Will Benson. So it goes with the whole Will Benson a love that me and Honest Fan share. So
yes, you were fighting the fight in the chat today with him. You were fighting the fight with him.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think he was with you too. He was trying to provide you with some words of encouragement as well, which is a good thing. And I'm glad that we're all singing Kumbaya together, holding hands, and we all feel great as a Reds fan base. But you know what? It's that time of the show. It's time to go. And before we go, we'll see if I can't do something.